CityLink, and I'm just so excited to be here. They don't let me leave my office in Toronto very much, so when I get to come to an amazing place like this, it's really exciting. And now I'm even more excited because moderating panel discussions is one of my very favorite things. And many of you who may have been to lots of conferences might want to roll your eyes at that statement because you might be used to the panel presentation where everyone has 6 minutes and you go down the line and everyone's talking quickly trying to get through their slides. But my favorite style of panel is the talk show panel. And this is more Oprah Winfrey, not so much Maury Povich or any of those other sort of disruptive kinds of folks. And this is really just an opportunity for us to hear from folks who have been doing this work on the ground in their communities, to translate some of the knowledge that we heard from Charles, some of the things that we're going to hear from Karen Petrie later this afternoon, and to really hear some community experiences and celebrate those successes. What are the great things that are already happening in our community? So I'm really excited to have 4 such amazing and diverse panelists here with us today. So I'm going to start with Brent, who I think everyone has guessed works with the Ontario Provincial Police. And he has worked there for 28 years now, and we're really excited to have him here to share his experiences. Because Brent's been actively engaging partners with the aim of creating a community hub that's specifically focused on at-risk youth, and he's going to talk about his experience in that process that he's been going through. Carol McBride is the Director of Health and Social Services at Notre Dame du Nord, and the way that she works in her community is really similar to the concept of community hubs. As we heard this morning, you in this area, you've been working in the hub way for hundreds of years. So Carol is going to tell us a little bit about their experiences in doing that kind of work. And Laura Urso is here from Sudbury. She's a program coordinator with Children's Services City of Greater Sudbury, and she engages partners in planning and authentic relationships, building capacity, and keeping momentum moving forward. So we're really happy to have Laura here to share Sudbury's best practices in service integration. And we also have Sky here with us, who is of Inuit heritage. He's lived and worked in the remote north and many communities across Ontario. Right now, Sky is Vice President of the Friendship Centre, and he's here to tell us about the community hub that is actually going to be opening in June. Very exciting news. So I'm actually going to start with you, Sky. So if you could maybe tell us a little bit about your community hub. So how did it come about? How did you establish the collaboration? Why did you want to do this, and who's involved? Huge questions.
So I work for two nonprofit housing providers in Parry Sound, with George Maiden nonprofit and Parry Sound nonprofit housing. At Parry Sound nonprofit housing, our board has been working vigilantly for the last 6 years, attempting to build more housing. We have a great need of 1-bedroom units in our town because the population has just shifted where people have less kids or having kids later, and we really need 1-bedroom apartments. So the first idea was taking over a hospital when it was changed. That didn't really work. It wasn't a great plan. So they left that alone. And when we got a new public school in Parry Sound, we worked very, very hard with the school board and our local DSAP to purchase a school. So we have the school now.
Should be, it's on now, I think.
Yeah, so once we had the school, we had an issue where, as a group, we wanted to keep the gym. Initially, there was going to be a second floor put into the gym, and we would have more units, which was a great need, but we needed something for our tenants and for the community. So we're sitting at the table and discussing how we're going to do this, and at the same time, I'm the vice chair of the board of the Friendship Center, and I'm like, how am I going to keep the Friendship Center open? Because the building is very old. It's almost 100 years old, and the upkeep was just getting beyond us. So my colleague said, well, why don't we move the center into the school? And I thought, well, can we do that? Yes, of course. So we set off a wing for the Friendship Center, and it suited both parties very well. And we're like, well, now we've got a hub. Now, how do we accentuate that? So we brought in the early years program, which is a parent and child program for infants like my daughter. And then they brought us One Kid's Place. So now we had this amazing opportunity where we got to keep the gym, programming in the gym that would be free for the community, especially our tenants, so like on site. It's ideal. So now we've got a hub. Now we've got child rearing, we've got physiotherapy for children, speech therapy, all those great things right there in the center of town. And with our town, there's no transit, so it made it ideal to be right smack down in the middle of town. Now, we're also, at the other nonprofit, looking to build another 10 units through Georgia Bay Native Nonprofit on site as well, which will just enhance the community largely. So, yeah, as you said, we'll be moved in June 1st, which would be great. Running programming and enhancing the community.
One of the things I love about this story is that we talk about all of the time when you want to collaborate, when you want to partner. The most important thing is for you to just all be around the table, because this is what happens. Someone says, I need people in my gym, and someone says, oh, I have this program that needs the space. And it sounds like that's really what happened in your community.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And actually, once we got our 3 commercial partners, for lack of a better term, we had people banging at our door nonstop. We had mental health, we had the health unit, we had everyone. Again, our mandate is housing, so that's where we drew the line at our three clients. But we also partner with anyone that will come to the table. Community Living is putting in community gardens on site and utilizing our community kitchen once it's built for right from the garden to the table. So canning, cooking classes, everything, which will just, again, for our tenants, you can't beat it.
Great, thanks. So that's the story of a hub that's actually been able to purchase a building, and you're going to actually open a physical location in June, which is exciting. So Brent's experience is a little bit further along or further down the continuum. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the process that you're going through in trying to set up a community hub and how you have started to work together to do that?
Yeah, Andrea's makes it sound a little more positive than the experience so far. But I think after going through the exercise that we did this morning, it's very clear that all of us have challenges when it comes to collaborating, and a lot of those challenges we talked about. And Carol and I spoke about it today. When people don't have time, they have schedules. There's logistical problems with travel and the distance that we face in the north. So sometimes it's difficult. Some of the difficulties that we face here in Timiskaming is the fact that we already do have some very healthy networks of services in place, and they do provide some excellent service to community members. And drawing people together for one more committee or one more meeting per month seems to generate some professional resentment on behalf of some of the, and that's certainly not a knock on anybody, because I think we're all that same way when you feel that you're already providing a good service and you have somebody like me wander in and say, well, I think we can do things better. I can see where that resentment may come from. And it also comes too from the main mandate of whatever your service happens to be. So for me, coming from policing, our main mandate is law enforcement and community safety. Now the broader picture of community safety is the development of hubs like this. However, in the immediate sense, when Charles talked today about if you're a hammer, all you see are nails, well, our people are basically trained to be hammers. And so they have a hard time getting their heads around some more esoteric concepts of community safety. So our mandate can get in the way, and I'm sure it's the same for other groups as well. Not to say that we're going to give up on this concept. Some of the solutions that we've got, from my end, I'm going to be able to dedicate an officer who has the time to do these collaborations and to meet with groups on a more frequent basis. But we also have to provide a solution to the groups that don't want to have one more meeting or one more committee to sit on. So the only thing that comes to mind is maybe not necessarily hijacking one of these current committees, but piggybacking onto a current committee and maybe adding a component to it. And Community Hub, from and this is unique to the room, because Community Hub, from a policing point of view, has always been sold to us as a way to download some of the things that we do back onto services who may be more appropriately able to deal with what we deal with. Because policing is seen as a catch-all. Well, if something's gone wrong, call the cops. This person's doing this, call the cops. And pretty soon we're doing a whole lot of things that we're not trained or equipped to do. So policing has seen it as a way to download some of the things that we do. And maybe other people see things differently from where they are. So when I say that we add a component to a committee that's already existing, it may, if we have all the right people in the room, then we can do some consultation and some intervention work. And as Andrea mentioned, my focus has been on at-risk youth, and Carol and I talked about it as well, about how some youth fall through the cracks. The only way that I have to see that is I look at the kids who are in trouble. I have a database that can tell me, okay, this kid got in trouble 10 times, and what have we done about it? We arrest him, charge him, throw him in jail, or take various other enforcement steps. There's other people in the community that can offer that kid services that will maybe turn the kid's life around. And Carol mentioned an awesome point that sometimes it's the kids that, it's not necessarily just the kids that are getting in trouble that need help. So I look at it from a very one-dimensional point of view. I look at, okay, this kid's trouble, then we need to do something. But there are a lot of kids that need services that aren't in trouble and that need that help. So from my point of view, to bring my perspective and force it onto the room and say we need to deal with these poor troubled kids, there may be other people in the room that are already dealing with people that aren't in trouble. And so the challenge is, for me, is being able to communicate that to people in a way that they're going to see value in. So if I can get 5 different stakeholders at the table that offer different services. And we did that exercise when we first gathered together for one of our first hub meetings. One of the common themes in the room was that everybody at the table already knew what everybody else was doing. And that was one of the resistance issues that I got. And then when we got talking, it was apparent. We did a round table, and there was a lot of people that didn't know what other services had to offer. So I think the value is being able to get people together to sit in the room and get at what we can all offer. And the other thing that bogged us down too was, and now I'm a high energy person who likes to get things rolling and get things together. I tend to be weak on process, but there are people who are very strong on process, and when they can bog things down. And when people start throwing things at me like terms of reference, I lose my focus. So absolutely, you need somebody in the room who can get a hold of that and say, okay, well, here's how we build these terms of reference, here's how we build a mandate, here's how we put some order to that energy. So yeah, I do have a person like that in my office, and that's the person that I'm going to assign to try and make these things better. So at the risk of continuing to prattle on here, that's my experience so far. And the other thing I wanted to mention was I talked to Natalie Lessard, and I believe Charles mentioned it as well. It's great if you could have an ideal situation, because Natalie has experience with stuff in Hawkesbury. If you could get everybody together in one building, if everybody worked together in one building, that doesn't happen in Northern Ontario because everything's so spread out. But ideally, yes, it would be great if we could get everybody together. The one person who did help greatly with that, and I'm going to call on her again, is Dr. Spruitt from the health unit. She was very open to getting everybody together and offering up space for us to meet and an admin person to help us out. So yeah, by all means, it's not a dead concept here, but I'm thinking 2017 will be a better year to focus on it with a new person for my office.
Thanks a lot, and I'm sure you're going to be sharing the contact information for that new person in your office.
Yes, I will.
Very soon. I just want to pick up on a couple of points that you mentioned, because it's very much like Sky was saying too, and I certainly find this in my own work, just the nature of my position. I'm a connector, so I can spend anywhere from half to 2/3 of my time in meetings. And that's actually one thing we didn't get up on our TRIZ list this morning, is spend all of our time in meetings, but not have anything actually ever happen. sometimes you can't get around the fact that you just all need to get around a table, and you need to go around the table, and you need to hear what people are doing. And it can feel like it takes a long time, and it can feel like a waste of time, but how else are we going to know? We can send out newsletters if we're lucky to have students that make them good, but really when it comes down to it, we need to all be around the same table. And I really love your concept of, we tend to say leveraging rather than hijacking other committees and work groups, but it's the same principle. Who's already doing this? Do we really need another group of people? Or can we grab a couple of people at this meeting and kind of help them out? So thanks very much for sharing that. So I'm going to turn to Carol now. So your agency is already working in a model that's very much like this community hub concept. So I'm going to ask you to tell us how your agency started to work that way and what some of the benefits of that way of work are.
Thank you very much. First of all, I think where I would like to emphasize on is that we were not always the same size as we are now. Back in the late 1900s, we had a health center that might have had 4 to 5 people. Now we're up to 35. So we've grown quite a bit. One of the things that I noticed, well, first of all, I had worked in New Lisker for the women's group for 8 years, and I was a connector, and we worked with Danny, and so there I learned about the hub concept. So after many years of traveling and that, I was tired and I wanted to go back home. So I went back home to Notre Dame and Timiskaming First Nation and start working there as underneath First Line Services. And then I graduated to the director. And what I had noticed when I was working as under the First Line Services is that everybody was working in silos. And yes, they did help people, but not to the extent where they could be. Funding is very limited. So I was trying to look at something that would give a bigger bang for your buck sort of thing, to be able to help the individual more. So one time I was reading this on how another health center was working, and they took from the premise of the medicine wheel, where you had the emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual side of things. And in the middle, you would have the individual. So, and when you look at our health center, it had programs and services to help all those areas of that medicine wheel. So that kind of gave me the idea or the vision to be able to pull all our resources together. Keep the member in the middle and see how we could help that person. And we do, what was one of the first things that I had done was that divide our health center into four departments. One was First Line Services, the other was the medical side of things, where the nurses were. Medical transportation was one, and then social programs was another. So